if they're back on headset yet.
Vikings, Broncos here from SoFi. Third of 4 showcase games we have. These All-American Bowl games, the offense, defense, All-American Bowls. And the Vikings and Broncos squaring off right now. First play of the game from the 30-yard line. It's a handoff right up the middle and no gain on the play. And great day of football and opportunity to play here at SoFi. Glad you're with us here from Inglewood. Second down, about 9 yards to go, just the second play of the game. And short pass, it's incomplete. So we started the day off with the mid-ranger division, then the young guns. Now we have the underclass bowl. And dropping back to pass, quick to the outside. That one's caught around the 40, up to the 45-yard line. Good conversion on third down. As there's a quick look on the connection. Really good conversion with the Vikings and Broncos playing here. That's Maurice Daniels, the receiver out of New York, on the catch right there. So the Broncos, if you're just joining us, we are just underway. The Broncos have picked up 1 first down, and they have the football in their hands now. The quarterback reigns from the Sunshine State. It's Caden Antonopoulos, who throws it over the middle on the slam. That's brought up the field, breaking inside the 35-yard line. A big burst of speed, and Aiden Glenn, the wideout from South Carolina, goes up to make not only the great catch, but after it, cuts up the field with precision. And Aiden Glenn Number 80 in red doing a really nice job. Broncos threatening. It's a carry, and that play blown up in the backfield. The Vikings come in. Amir Harper, the linebacker from Katy, Texas, bursts through and gets the tackle for loss. But Aiden Glenn, number 80, the receiver out of South Carolina. He's a very impressive player and plays on both sides of the ball. Second down. And long after the loss on the handoff, Antonopoulos throws it down the field. It's intercepted. Taken away there by the Vikings. Coming up is Cornell Porter. He plays wide receiver as well, and this one was a gift just after Christmas for him as it just goes right into his hands. He deflects it and then makes the interception. So we got to give Porter a lot of credit there. Not only did he think it was going to be a pass defense as he put his hand in the air, didn't catch enough of it initially, so it hit off the receiver and then goes back into the hands of Cornell Porter, and he comes up with the interception. So Vikings now with their first possession. What a great INT there by Porter. First play, it's an errant pass by the Vikings. They were looking out in the flat for William Henderson III. He's wide out from Colorado Springs. Got Julian Applegren out at receiver to the bottom of your screen. Many say he's the next big thing to come out of high school football in the state of Nevada, but they keep it on the ground here. A flag flies in the backfield on the attempt on the ground from Christopher Wagley. And we'll see what the penalties assessed here. Opening series for the Vikings after the interception by Cornell Porter. A holding against the offense will back them up. And so the Vikings will have a more difficult time now being backed up. Plenty of talented players, excited to touch on and highlight all these players. And they're certainly excited for the opportunity this afternoon to play at SoFi Stadium, one of the premier venues in the National Football League. And they have an opportunity for 4 quarters of running clock action to get this chance to showcase their skills and execute the things they've learned throughout this week and just their talents overall. A big reason why they've been selected to play in this game. Short pass to the outside, a couple of tackles broken, and running up the field, still on his feet, Julian Applegren, not going to be touched this time. Applegren taking it up the sideline, and he'll walk into the end zone. Julian Applegren. Oh my. The fireworks coming out for number 4. We said he's the next big thing to come out of Foothill High School in Nevada, one of the premier high school football programs across the land. However, he'll have to do it all again if he wants it to count, because a penalty marker erases the big play. See the official pleading his case. But the penalty marker, that's a long way to run to not have it count for Julian Applegren. Now we await on the call. The second time today we've seen a highlight reel play be wiped away by a touchdown put off the board. And so no touchdown for Julian Applegren. However, that is a play I'm sure he will have to show off, because that was impressive. That he broke 3 tackles and then sprinted up the sideline to the end zone, showcasing not only his hands, his ability to operate in space, but then speed to finish it off as well. And early on shows us why he, many say, is projected to be the next big thing out of Foothill High School in Nevada. There's a handoff and breaking space away. This Vikings team has explosive players, and another one there. And Christopher Wagley getting another opportunity to carry the football. Does it right there as they were backed up after the penalty. And Wagley has good space in between the guard and the tackle on the left side to pick up a nice gain. Second down, about 5 to go. Back to Wagley. To the outside. And Wagley picks up the first down and some. Good play by Christopher Wagley. He's out of Marietta, Georgia. He comes off the field here. Here in the third of 4 All-American games we have today. The offense, defense, All-American Bowl. It's the Underclass Bowl happening right now. Julian Applegren at the bottom of your screen, the star wide receiver. They hit out to the top. Getting outside the numbers and breaking away across the 45-yard line. Showcasing his prowess is William Henderson III, the wideout out of Colorado. Yards after the catch. And that makes life much more manageable as a quarterback, but also operating this offense, it feels one step forward but a couple back today for this Vikings offense, as a penalty marker was down. So that assessed against the Broncos puts the Vikings in solid position, just 30 yards away from a score. Hit to the sideline, pushed out at the 25-yard line. Cornell Porter, we mentioned he's a solid wide receiver. Shows his hands there on the out route to the sideline. Not to mention, he had the big interception on the opening possession for the Broncos. Cornell Porter got it, and the Vikings have had the ball ever since. That was on the first series for the Broncos. The quarterback, Apollo Kotsaviakis out of Brooklyn, New York, has it. Touch far side, put it on the money, but not brought in there by Barrett Culver, a Salina, Texas native. Number 58, Culver, comes off after he drops the pass from the quarterback, Paulo Kotsiakovas. And a third down. Handoff through the right side of the big run up to the 21-yard line there for Christopher Wagley. That is another penalty marker against the Broncos. A face mask that will help their cause once again. And the quarterback standing in the shotgun. A 1st and 10 after the face mask. And brought down the Broncos into the backfield. Impressive play made by big number 76, Jamari Chambers, as he sacks the quarterback, Apollo Kutsavakis. And he goes down. So Apollo Kutsavakis, the quarterback for the Vikings, Caden Antonopoulos for the Broncos, as we're mixing and matching for sure with the signal callers throughout the day. We've had some good plays so far. Vikings knocking on the door. We're done with the first quarter. We'll be back for the second next. Back to action here from Inglewood, California at SoFi. It's the offense-defense All-American Bowl games, the third of 4 we have today, and the second of 4 quarters we have in this game. It's the Underclass Bowl between these two sides, and the Vikings with the football now. Game began with a Cornell Porter interception to give the Vikings the football, and they have it now. And they're approaching the red zone as well. Dropping to pass, looking for the end zone. It's incomplete. Intended target was William Henderson III. It was better coverage as Henderson had it batted out of the air. And he cannot connect. So looking for the shot there to Henderson. Now Apollo Kutsavakis back into the ball game. The quarterback out of Brooklyn, New York. Here for the Vikings. 3rd down and long. Approaching the red area. Oh, and a big QB sack. Coming up to put the QB on the ground is Joshua Kernis out of Williams, Arizona. Number 84 doing a great job, Kernis. Off the defensive line, number 84. Joshua Kernis on the edge, screams off it. And it sets up a 4th and a mile. They have it outside the 30. They've got to get inside the 10. Can they pick up 20 yards here? It's dislodged. And wow, perhaps you thought maybe that's a fumble. Instead, it is an incompletion, dangerously close to being a strip sack. And oh man, a big lick put on the quarterback there into the backfield with force. And the Broncos doing a great job forcing the issue. So that'll give the football back into the hands of the Vikings. And the snap goes high and checked as that's the Broncos who forced the turnover with a couple sacks on the Vikings. So they give it back to the Broncos. But either way, before the Broncos can get underway on this drive, it's a high snap and a flag as well. So Maurice Daniels, very talented, skilled position player out of New York. He's number 85 now on the field, along with number 25, Pops Pasalo. Luke Dudley, the quarterback, gives it out to Caleb Yanez. He breaks tackles across midfield. And on it, Aiden Glenn was there on the actual carry and run up across midfield. As we take another look, quick hit. They're out to Glenn, and he's able to make the play going up the field. And so, another flag, a false start. Fresh set of downs here in the second quarter between the Broncos and the Vikings. The Broncos have the football. They just crossed midfield, but it looks like now they move back 5 yards after the false start. Three receivers to the top. One now motions on 1st and 15. And it's blown dead. Don't see a flag. Oh, you do see a flag, and it's a false start as it dropped in the backfield. So 2 false starts during this segment of downs for the Broncos, making things harder on themselves. Lots of markers here today. And get a look at the left guard as well. Touch on him in a moment. And there is another flag that flies in and a sack as well, as he takes down the quarterback, Luke Dudley, out of Fallbrook, California, but a holding is called. But Nazir Wilson playing left guard right now. Home is Jamaica. He comes here from New York. But just look at the size on number 68. Just a massive, massive offensive line prospect. Standing at left guard as the quarterback of the shotgun getting ready to go, but an illegal motion. So that is the 3rd pre-snap penalty in the last 3 plays for this Broncos offense. We'll see if they can't. And 4 penalties on this drive, 1 holding in the midst of the play. But that is something early on they will try to overcome. Maybe trying to get them out of the way here in the first half of action. Joshua Kernis, the tight end out of Arizona, into the ballgame as well. A lot of size and strength for him as he provides on the left side of the line that size, but they flip it out on the screen and nowhere to go but backwards. Ethan Esquivel makes the tackle on the completion to Colton Brake. And Esquivel comes up with a great wrap-up right there. We get a glance at number 6 for the Vikings as he comes up with a tackle for loss. That'll force a third and very long here for the Broncos in the second quarter. Quick hit out in the flat. It's incomplete. They were looking for the back and Maxi Bynum. But the LA native and running back can't catch the short screen out in the flat to his counterpart in the backfield. So no score between the Vikings and the Broncos. And after that incompletion, looking for Maxi Bynum. It was really, really good defense by the Vikings. They showed it on the opening possession with a Cornell Porter interception. And then Ethan Esquivel came up with a huge tackle for loss. And it puts them in a position to get the football back, and jumping off is Chambers. And so that'll spot 5 yards into enemy territory as we still look for the first score of this game with 6 minutes and change to go in the second quarter. The Vikings playing great defense on their first 2 drives, helped out by penalties, of course, on that last drive committed by the Broncos, but now have the football in their hands. And on 1st and 5, they decide to run, and it looks like it's enough for a first down on the attempt to Barrett Culver. Julian Applegren to the top of your screen. Thought he had a massive touchdown earlier in the game. It was wiped away via penalty. This is a snap that is dropped, picked up, and just getting back to the line of scrimmage before it's blown up on the play by Dane Vincent, the linebacker out of Edmond, Oklahoma. And Tyron James comes off after that scramble just to the sideline for a moment to gather the play. Mention number 68, Nazir Wilson, plays on both sides of the line. 2nd and 10. Delayed handoff, and Wilson is right there to gobble up the back. A flag flies as well. And so third down. About 10 to go. Tyron James, the quarterback. He's from Colorado Springs. On this 3rd and 10 from the 37-yard line. Snap is dropped, and James tries to get back on it. It's loose. And the Broncos did not get right back on it. Fortunate for the Vikings. They wrestle in the pile for it. Cade Porter, the center, looks like he was the one that just plopped on the football. Now it's 4th and very long. They're outside the 40. Cash Baxter, you see number 91. Another guy with just towering size over everybody else, the left tackle for the Vikings. Here on 4th and forever. It's just a handoff, and it's nowhere to go on the attempt on the ground. So that'll do it for the Vikings drive. Couldn't get much going, and the Broncos will take it back over. Plenty of stars, and mentioned the future stars and the prestigious couple-decade history of success and excellence in the offense-defense All-American Bowl. And looking at some of the prospects on either side of the line, it's very impressive, the trenches as well. And in a game like this, the trenches always a massive component. But in a showcase game, who can protect each side of the line is going to be so, so important. Especially when the quarterbacks aren't as familiar with the playbook. In short order, they have to simplify it and just see what talent can win out. But obviously, Nazir Wilson is a massive talent. He is 320 pounds and 6'5". And running in all backwards there. Nowhere on the protection that could do that time, is just sprinting back with nothing doing was the quarterback, Alfred Staher. The man out of Miami has it go incomplete. We mentioned Wilson touching on somebody playing left guard, but it's his 2nd time as an OD All-American. Just 13 years old in the class of 2030. Short hit, it's incomplete. Trying to find Maurice Daniels. So we've got no score late in this 2nd quarter of action. The Broncos just shy of midfield, but they face a 3rd and 10. Maxie Bynum to the left hip of the quarterback. Staher gives it off to him, and Bynum runs through multiple tackles up to the 50-yard line. Big, tough, physical run by Maxie Bynum. takes a couple defenders with him. He's running back out of Los Angeles. And rolling out on 4th down. Dropping back, throwing it down the sideline. And at the 25-yard line. Let's get another look here. Directing traffic and letting one fly. And oh man, almost an unbelievable catch, but out of bounds. Late in this second quarter of action on 4th down. Tried to push the envelope and go for it. But they turn it over at midfield with 46 seconds left. And the snap dropped for a second. And short pass, it's caught. And wrapped down, just pulled down there. As the Vikings with an opportunity. There is a flag on the play after the completion to Christopher Wagley. But an offsides was the call against the defense. The 1st down. For this Vikings offense. So on the last play, the flag flies offsides. You see the run after the catch and just grabbed down by the jersey, Christopher Wagley. Back to action, back to Wagley. And he is pushed out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Another penalty marker comes. And it's a holding call. Plenty of penalties all day long. This game in particular has seen the most. So the officials definitely getting their work in. Well, they do either way, but assessing plenty of penalties in that regard in a scoreless game late second quarter between the Vikings and Broncos in this underclass OD All-American Bowl game. Vikings have the pass come, and it's another flag, a horse collar tackle. That is how the quarterback got sacked, and Apollo Kutsavakis goes down. But it looked like he clearly went down aided by the tackle via horse collar. And so now the official is bringing in the officials. We'll see what the call is. It looks like we are just moments away until halftime as well, as they all gather up and assess the situation. So we're at the tail end of the first half. The Vikings with the ball in their hands. Apollo Kutsavakis gets tackled by what we believe was a clear horse collar. And it is the personal foul against the opposition of the Broncos. And so that'll push the Vikings forward. But they don't have much time remaining here in the second quarter. But a 15-yard penalty puts them in striking distance for a final opportunity here in the first half. Low snap, it's on the ground, picked up, and again put down, and that ball somehow it's gobbled into the hands of Christopher Wagley. It looked like Apollo Kutsavakis not only got sacked, it was perhaps another horse collar. Instead, he lost the football, and it's picked up by Wagley. Interesting play. You got to always be aware for what's going to unravel after the ball is snapped. And what's unraveled in the first half of action. There's been no score thus far between the two sides. And so we have 9 seconds left in this first half. So after the sack, that was nearly a disaster and a turnover. Vikings have turned over the Broncos, but the Vikings almost gave one away there. All the pressure is coming from the defensive front, really on both sides, attacking and not allowing either quarterback to get comfortable. Apollo Kutsavakis, the quarterback out of Brooklyn, New York, stands in the shotgun on second down. He looks sideline. It's caught, and it's caught around the 27-yard line there for William Henderson III. And so there's just a couple seconds left in this second quarter. We'll check that. 1 second now left. So final play of the second quarter is upcoming here. After William Henderson III made a nice catch. One play until the teams take a quick intermission. This OD All-American Underclass Bowl. From the 26. Looking for the end zone. It's deflected out of play. And now it is halftime. Good pass defense at the buzzer in the first half for the Broncos. No score as we hit the break. Second half on the other side.
Game's got to start in 40 minutes.
Back to action here from SoFi Stadium. The Broncos and Vikings in the Underclass Bowl. No score after the first 2 quarters of action. We get ready to begin the third quarter as the two teams had the brief halftime intermission and now have 2 more quarters to showcase their talent, skills, ability, with the opportunity presented in front of them in the All-American game. The offense-defense All-American Bowl games here at SoFi today, the third of 4, and we begin the second half from the 30-yard line. Short pass to the outside, making a man miss up the sideline. And there's a burst of speed to welcome us into the third quarter. Really nice run by a man who's already made some big plays today. It's Cornell Porter. He had an interception on the opening drive of the game for the Broncos to give the Vikings the football. And now with the Vikings starting with it in this second half, it's Cornell Porter, the go-to guy there. On the fake, it's a quarterback keeper. Run across the 50. Keep going, breaking tackles down inside the 40-yard line. Tackled at the 36. Tyron James with a really nice run. Tyron James, it's the option, and he keeps it himself. James running from sideline to huddle to get instruction. He came from Colorado Springs here to Inglewood to play in this game and be here with the rest of his teammates and all those who have the honor to participate in the OD All-American Bowl. Short to the outside. It's incomplete. Now James making his way to the sideline. Gets the verbal instructions from his coach on the plays. And then goes back into the huddle. To communicate that back to his teammates. And it's an aspect of this game that can get overlooked, is just getting on the same page with the playbook. Really difficult in the matter of a few days. Short action there, and it's incomplete. Intended toward the 35-yard line. The target on the play was Barrett Culver, but he cannot make the catch for the Vikings. So James and Culver both with the play instruction. They go back to their huddle. Critical play from the 36-yard line. It's 3rd and 10. Opening series of the third quarter. Vikings with it. Handoff on 3rd and 10. And being pulled by the jersey Wow. Just a couple yards for Culver, but his jersey, you see right there, literally almost got pulled off. And how many guys does it take to bring him down? There's one, there's two, there's three, there's four, five guys, six, the whole team eventually brings Culver down and brings his jersey nearly off him as well, as he gets an assist from Julian Applegren as well to help put it back, as he was just getting tugged on by the jersey until it eventually gets his uniform back in position, and Tyron James back to the huddle with the play, and he sets it up with two in the backfield for him. So that gain of a few yards there sets up a fourth down. What do? Go to the air. On fourth down, high lofting pass, it's intercepted. The Broncos take it away. It's Maurice Daniels coming up with the interception. On fourth down, you knew they would need to go to the air, and this ball just hangs up in the air way too long, and it's picked up by Maurice Daniels. Maurice Daniels doing a really good job of reading that. He saw the eyes of James starting to cheat to the sideline, and Daniels does the rest. And so a penalty marker after the interception by Maurice Daniels, which we got another look. It was a personal foul, a face mask. And the question, when penalties happen and turnovers occur, the key distinction is if it happened before or after the ball was coughed up. In this case, it was on the return, so the Broncos keep the football, but now the officials are having a discussion. Keep it as in they got the interception and were penalized, so they suffer yardage and field position but keep the ball because they got the takeaway, opposed to if the face mask occurred before the interception. That is what we know, but the officials now are having a discussion about that said play. We're going to take another look on the face mask and we'll see after the catch. Daniels with the interception, and his face mask clearly being grabbed right there. That is when the flag comes out. Great shot and replay by our fantastic crew, slowing that down and showing us the clear and obvious evidence. But we got to get another look, and in that time they figure out the distance and the yard line for the Broncos. So the Broncos, they go right to the air, but nobody really too close. Closest in vicinity was Josiah Kearns. Kearns was about a few yards away, well out of his reach, but if he started to break toward the sideline, perhaps could have had an opportunity to haul that one in. But an interception along with a face mask equals Broncos starting with the ball in Vikings territory. And in a game like this, we break down the game on the broadcast as much as we can. And both teams certainly want to do their best, as it's a run up the gut, and it's across the 40-yard line. But so much about the game of football is about the cohesion in the locker room, not just on the field, but just with the team's will and want to go and win a football game. And that can be the challenge sometimes for coaches. Obviously, all these players individually want to do their best, put out great tape, be honored to be playing in SoFi, a memory they'll have forever. But when you watch football and consume it, normally the college, high school, or NFL level, those cohesive units, all one common goal. It's challenging to come together for a common goal over just a matter of a couple days. And all these players have the goal, but the larger goal is the exposure they're getting in an opportunity like this. And perhaps in the middle of it all, we get to see these players playing the game and trying to win, of course, as it was Cornell Porter who has tried to add on another interception to his total. He had one on the opening series of this game. But the point being, a lot of the story today, yes, about the game and the penalties and the first downs and how there's no score in the third quarter right now, but it's about how players from all across the country in this underclass bowl have got together on either side, and they're getting to showcase their talents. And it's such a cool opportunity for these players and the stories behind that. But obviously, when the football game breaks out, I mean, this is the reward for coming out to California for this week and going through all the drills and training, is to get to go see what you can do. How can you execute? And that's really what we're wanting to analyze and break down during this game today, as it's incomplete. Looking for Maurice Daniels, who just had the interception and then got his face mask pulled on the return, which allowed 15 more yards for the Broncos, who start with great field position after the turnover, but they have not been able to do anything after getting the interception. They just go quickly a 4 and out and give the football back to the Vikings. So that is the aspect of it, is trying to highlight a lot of these great talented individuals who are trying to put on a show for the fans at SoFi and for you watching with us here this evening. Apollo Kutavakis, the quarterback, claps his hands, gives it off up the middle, and a big run. It's a pickup of nearly 10 on the tote by Christopher Wagley. He's a Marietta, Georgia native. And he has a really solid gain on the ground. And so Apollo, the quarterback, standing next to Wagley again. Short screen, bouncing outside, running up the sideline, inside the 35. Cornell Porter. Mentioned he had the interception, but he's made just as dynamic plays with the ball in his hands on offense as well. 2 times he's had short balls caught at the line of scrimmage, and he's brought it for a first down gain. 2 receivers split either side of 1st and 10. Another hit outside. They give it to Julian Applegren. And it's arguable, debatable, but he has put out maybe the best tape today on a play that didn't count. Early on in the ballgame, he ran for a touchdown, just as we were reading all the accolades about his prowess and the big things he's doing in Nevada, but he ultimately had that one called back for a penalty on what would have been a huge touchdown. And speaking of penalty markers, one comes in on the far side at the line of scrimmage. Offsides the call. So that'll keep the Vikings moving forward as they are just 4 yards away from the red zone. 24 from the first touchdown today. Apollo, the quarterback, gives it off to Wagley, a stiff arm. He breaks 3 tackles. Look at Wagley. Takes 5 Broncos to bring down big number 14. The big, tough running back out of Georgia. Stiff arm. 2 stiff arms, 3 stiff arms on one play. 1 brilliant stiff arm, which was a real get off me, and then a couple others that he was able to get a few more yards off of. And it's goal to go for the first time in this game for either team. Wagley again. He's been doing the work on this drive, and he is running with hunger. Wagley looks like he stopped at the half-yard line. Would be shocked if they just don't give it back to Wagley. He's got him this close. Minute 20 to go in the third. Vikings looking to punch it in for the first time today. And a timeout taken by the Broncos. Minute 17 to go in the third. And it's the Vikings on the doorstep, thanks to Christopher Wagley. So Christopher Wagley has got the Vikings down this far. He competed in All-American games before. He was at the Dream All-American Bowl last year. Very talented class of 2030. And it is Wagley who finishes off the drive. Here in the OD All-American Bowl from SoFi, it's Christopher Wagley, the talented running back and linebacker, punching it in for 6, our first score today. So now they go for 2. Apollo, the quarterback, next to Christopher Wagley. He goes to the end zone. It's incomplete. So they fail the 2-point try, but from 1 yard out, it's Chris Wagley who scores the touchdown, and a name to watch in the class of 2030, showing his promise. He had 2 really good runs to get him to point blank, and goes in for the touchdown as well. Just 16 seconds left in the quarter. The Vikings just took a 6-0 lead. They failed the 2-point try, but ahead as we prepare to go to the fourth quarter with Christopher Wagley, the lone touchdown we've seen today. Broncos will try to answer, and they do by throwing an incompletion on the first play of the third quarter. Well, that'll set up a 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. And will also send us to the 4th quarter. On the other side. So the Broncos will try to respond back here for the start of the 4th quarter from SoFi Stadium. And it's the Broncos taking it themselves. Big explosive run. Caden Antonopoulos, the quarterback, doing it himself. He faked out the defense, kept it in his hands. And the QB from Florida comes off after a really nice run from Caden Antonopoulos. So the Broncos, early 4th quarter, already in Vikings territory. Right up the gut to the 45-yard line goes Bentley Taylor, running back out of Arizona. The running back coming into this game, he said he was extremely excited to play. Now they just have 1 quarter left. As it is caught there at the 35-yard line, breaking away inside the 30. The Broncos find Maurice Daniels. Maurice Daniels through traffic on the slant, cuts in and breaks up the field. He, along with Cornell Porter, have done great things on both sides of the ball. Both players have multiple receptions and interceptions. There, Maurice Daniels for the Broncos. An interception, a big catch right there. It's a handoff there to about the 25-yard line. On the give to Maxie Bynum. A 6-0 advantage for the Vikings after all the talk around SoFi was about Christopher Wagley. However, the Broncos want to give him something to think about as well. And maybe that's Maurice Daniels, who just had a big connection. Or it's Maxie Bynum. And they don't blow this dead because it was a backwards pass, and it's hopped on there by Aiden Glenn. Really heads up play by the defense. You go back here. Oh, man. And so the play continues to go on. And so if you throw it backwards, it's obviously a live ball. Just like a pitch would be to a running back, and the defense pursuing it. sometimes on those 50-50, you see it's called at other levels. They just play it out, then they go to assist and say, okay, it's an incompletion. But right there, tough break. They lose a ton of yards, and it's going to be nearly impossible to overcome it if you're going to run in between the tackles on 3rd and a country mile, and that's what they tried to do with Maxie Bynum. And so it sets up a 4th down on a really tough break on what was a very promising drive being put together by Caden Antonopoulos. Had the big run, then connection to Maurice Daniels. And a bad break. But when you run it up the middle on 3rd and long, tells you you're either trying to get just better position, but it usually will tell you maybe you figured you had another down to work with. But what is in the playbook on 4th down and 14? Antonopoulos, he gets sacked. The playbook is Christopher Wagley, the All-American linebacker, comes up with the sack. Oh, by the way, he has the only touchdown today as well. And Christopher Wagley, off the edge, great leverage. As soon as the quarterback steps up in the pocket, he releases and sacks him. Textbook there by Wagley, bringing the pressure. Wagley been playing tackle football since he was 5 years old. Runs it all over the field, and what a day he has had. Give it off to Barrett Culver as the Vikings take back the possession after Wagley's sack, not only on 4th down turns it over, but one play in, they're already in territory of the Broncos on the other side of the 50. Tyron James try to scamper out the sideline himself with 5 and change to go in this 4th quarter of action. The Vikings with the ball with a 6-0 lead as well. Cash Baxter taking up most of the screen. He's the big offensive lineman. He's out of Perry, Iowa at 6'3". And football is loose. Hopped on. So many loose pigskins on the turf today. Tyron James is able to hop on it. Cash Baxter, he's a class of 2030 as well. Listed at 6'3". Weight was listed at 250, but that was a while back. Four minutes to go. A 6-0 advantage as Tyron James and the Vikings have the football. But a flag is down at the 40-yard line. From their own 47, delayed handoff blown up by the Broncos. And there is Bynum. We've seen him run the football well today, but Maxie Bynum with a massive tackle for loss there. Number 24. The running back out of Los Angeles. Also playing up front on the defensive line. Three minutes, just over 3 to go in this fourth quarter. Vikings on 3rd and long. A connection after the catch, continuing to go, and the Vikings with another massive touchdown. What a play by William Henderson III. Breaks 3 tackles and runs up the sideline for the score. On 3rd and a mile, they get it to William Henderson. And today, really any day, you always have to check for penalty markers. On the attempt, they go to the sideline. It's incomplete. So a 12-0 lead for the Vikings, a pair of touchdowns. And here is the touchdown. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 defenders get into the vicinity. 4 Broncos try to bring down William Henderson III. He runs into the end zone for the touchdown. They do not get the 2-point conversion. Holding our breath on some explosive touchdowns today, because Julian Applegren had one earlier as well for the Vikings that was erased. So the scores have been from Christopher Wagley and now William Henderson. But touchdown, no flags. That's typically the call if you make sure there's no flags. And we indeed, after some time, yes, that was no flags and a 12-0 score, despite seeing multiple touchdowns nullified by penalties here today. So 12-0 the score. They have 2 touchdowns, don't convert on either 2-point try. It leaves the Broncos little time, and they need to do a lot, down by 2 touchdowns. And it's Christopher Wagley with another sack. Back-to-back snaps, back-to-back sacks for Wagley on defense. He had the sack to force the turnover on downs, which just led to that last touchdown you saw a moment ago from Henderson. And then he gets one right here. I mean, Wagley's been great on both sides of the ball. A two-way star in the making out of Marietta, Georgia. A name to watch out for. 12-0 the score. The Vikings on top here from SoFi. Be sure to stay tuned with us after this. We'll have the Big Stage Bowl with the Texans and Chargers going at it. Short carry, gain of just a couple. But that's coming up with the Texans and the Chargers in the Big Stage Bowl for the 4th and final OD All-American Bowl game we have from SoFi today. And funny enough, Texans and Chargers in the NFL, they played in this building just a couple days ago. Short pass, and it's blown up again. This Vikings defense, man, oh man, they are playing really well. They crash in and make the stop, and they're continuing to force the issue as there was just no room to operate for Bentley Taylor, and they have just gone backwards on this drive. The Broncos have, as they are inside their own 5-yard line. Luke Dudley's the quarterback. He grabs it, throws it down the field. It's intercepted. Taken away by the Vikings. Another takeaway. This time it's Amir Harper who comes up with the interception. Amir Harper. Another look. He was just camped out in center field and caught the pop fly, brought it back a few yards, and now the Vikings, that seals up a victory for them. They're up 2 scores with the football and the interception, and they're able to come through today with impressive play all around. A couple of interceptions, Cornell Porter with one, and then one to seal the game as well there from Amir Harper. So 12-0 the final. The two teams line up here at midfield to show a sign of respect. A major theme for this OD All-American Bowl game. We'll have one more coming up after this. 12-0 the final. The Vikings win it. We will have one more OD All-American Bowl game coming up. But for now, we say so long from Inglewood.